All right, all right. It's the Big and Fat podcast. Big man here. Fat Williams here, man. He's back this week. Last week he was under the weather, so we had to get to it anyway.
Crabs, baby, crabs. Had to tame them. had to put a little ointment on and let them things go away. Snapping
Man,
turtles.
this dude right here. But listen, I just want to jump right in. We were talking about this before we started, and I want to jump right in and talk about something. I saw somebody post something, and they said that mortgage is just glorified rent. Bruh, I don't even understand the mentality. And that's the reason why, you know, we don't understand how money really works. We just don't understand it. And that statement right there said it all. Because for me, I look at that statement in terms of how things look in the inner city. If you look at the inner city, there's a lot of multifamily homes and we own none of them. Yeah, we're tenants, we live there, we reside there, but we don't own it. We don't own it. And we're paying into someone else's wealth. And most times, you talk about these slumlords and stuff like that. People who are complaining about slumlords, and the first thing that they say is, I can't afford a house. I can't. You can afford it. It's just you need to afford the mindset to reallocate your spending because you can afford to be at these concerts. You can afford to be at all these events and buy outfits for all of these events. You can afford it when it's time to go out and have a good time, but you can't afford it for that. And so is it us? Is our mindset, is it that our mindset is messed up? Or, what is the answer to it? And I know you had some things you wanted to say about it as well.
I mean, when you look at it, it's like a lot of times what you pay for rent, you could be paying a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these rents these days are so high. Like, I mean, you can pay a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people just scare themselves away out of ownership, owning a home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process, but it's not not doable. You can do it,
Right.
and you can do it comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that if you have to have the mindset and condition yourself. Do you want to continue to rent forever, or do you want to own something?
Yeah.
I rented for a long time. I finally went out and got a multi-family a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good thing to do. And we all want to have something,
Right.
but what he said about glorified, which is how'd you
He
word
said
that?
rent. Mortgage is glorified rent.
That's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
And I mean, it was a loud and proud statement. And to that, I say, um, your loud and proud factual or delivered as factual statement is glorified ignorance. All right, because and myself, I'm a former landlord as well,
Hmm.
and so what you have to understand is landlords are leveraging you right now. They're leveraging you, and you probably don't even know it, because as a landlord, right, you can get that mortgage, and let's say you got a three-family home, and I'm no expert on this. I'm no expert on this, so don't take my word. But this is basically what I've experienced. For one unit, you could basically almost charge what you're paying for the mortgage.
Yeah.
The rest is profit. So let's just say, you're doing $1,800 a month, right, for each one of the units. And that's on the low end, because some of these units, especially you talking 2 and 3 bedrooms, man, people paying 2 grand easy,
2000. Yeah.
right? Let's just do 1,800 as a round figure. Let's say your mortgage, is 1,900 for the house. So now you got 1,800 coming from one unit, and 18 coming from each of the other two units. So that's an additional 3,600. You take the $100 off of that for the mortgage, $3,500 you are making every single month in the clear. Now, if you manage your money right and you put most of that money away, when a rainy day comes along, you don't even have to worry about it,
You got it.
right?
Hmm.
And so that's the way that people are building this wealth. And now, if you really putting that money in the right places, let's say you putting that money up and letting it collect some interest or stuff like that, you might be able to invest in a second one. Before you know it, you're on autopilot. Next thing you know, you bringing in $15,000, $20,000 a month just from the properties that you have after the bills are cleared. right? So we start to wonder, oh, how is it that people are doing this, that, and other? Because they are thinking different. They are thinking different. They're not thinking, oh, I gotta, oh, the new Jordans just dropped. I gotta be first in line. Because I mean, most of these people who own these three family homes, all of their tenants got all the latest Jordans piled up in one room,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of the way that we think. You know, we have to change the way that we think about things, and we miss the mark a lot of times because we're so busy wanting to look the part and not be the part. And yeah, the part takes a little sacrifice, it takes a little work. Um, Look, Fat, I also do real estate, right? And I've noticed, you know, when you tell people that they can't do certain things or they can't spend money, they can't go out shopping and doing all this stuff for maybe 60 days or something like that, let the process take its course, then they have a problem with that. People really have a problem with that. And it's just a little bit of discipline, man. It's a little bit of discipline and really staying the course. Your reward on the other side is is going to be amazing. Just the amount of people who could have saved their situation if they had a home during the pandemic. A lot of people did refinancing of their homes, cashed out, and that money was their nest egg to keep them going while the times were tough during the pandemic. You can't do that with an apartment. You can't do that. When it's time for you to move out of that apartment, you're hoping to get some of that security deposit back. What, to help you move into another apartment and put a security deposit on that? Now, if you own that home, you get ready to get up and move, in most instances, that value has gone up. So some people are walking away from these homes, couple $100,000 in profit, man. So they got something to start off anew wherever they're going, and then have something to put up for a rainy day.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different ways that you could freak this situation, and we look at it all the wrong way. People started talking about the taxes and this, that, and the other. Yeah, even when you pay it off, you're gonna owe tax. The way that this country is set up, you're gonna owe taxes on anything that you own. You don't complain when it's time to pay car taxes. Well, you do when you try to find ways to skip around it and get those taxes from. Never mind. I ain't gonna put the secrets out there. I ain't gonna put the secrets. We in Connecticut, man. So if you're in Connecticut and you know
You
what
know.
I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah.
All right. But this is the Big and Fat podcast, man. And I know I get loose and start talking about stuff, and you know I'll let you chime in on
No,
it, man.
I
Cause
mean, but you're talking about some real stuff.
Mhm.
Because when we talk, we was just having a conversation about this last night. I was at my mom's house. My son had a shower over there, whatever, and we were talking to some of the younger people that was there about stability and about owning something.
yeah,
And I mean, a lot. It's interesting that we talking about this today because you got to be willing to make that step, and it's a mindset. They say you are what you think, and
Mhm.
if you think you can do something and you think you want to do something, then you can do it.
yeah,
And ownership and having your own and everybody these days want to scream they a boss and all that. If you want to be a boss, then be one.
right,
So I mean, it's this is an interesting conversation. This is one that you can just keep talking about because you want people to hear this. You want people to get this because it's important.
yeah.
We look around your community
Mhm.
every day when you go to everywhere you go. Like we own nothing. Like you know who they are, but they got it all. So and we got to really step forward and say, you know what, it's our turn.
Yeah. And I mean, I hear it a lot of times where people are trying to bid on homes and stuff like that, and they're getting outbid from people out of state. People out of state, man, they're coming and buying up all the properties here, and that's because we haven't prepared ourselves properly. You start to look back and think about some of the frivolous stuff that you spent money on, man, and oh man, if I would have known what I know now, but you know what? Don't harp on that.
Yeah.
Don't harp on that, right? You know now. You know now, and it's never too late to start. You know, if you learn something new every day, you're gonna learn some things that you wish you had known before. I know that I have, and it's take those situations and don't just sit there and get upset with yourself because you didn't know. All right,
And
that's
yeah.
what the part of living life is. You're learning experiences throughout your life, and it's all about how you take that information and how you use it. And so we got to get better at using the information that we're getting. We got to get better at tapping into our resources. And when people are sharing information with us, man, we got to take it for what it is and really study that situation. I think sometimes we hear certain things, man, and we like, yeah, that's cool, that's cool. I know people who will give you every excuse in the world as to why they don't want to own a home, but then they complain about the rent that they're paying.
Yeah.
Yo, man, these rents too high, man, but I'm not trying to buy a house. I'm not trying to make a 30-year commitment to a home, but you've been paying rent since you graduated high school.
Yeah.
And now, if you're in your late 40s or something, and you've been paying rent all that time, you've already paid somebody else's mortgage for 30 years.
Yeah. And another thing too, I think a lot of times people think that is like really difficult, and that's what scares a lot of people. But the thing is, if you don't know, there's resources, there's people that you can talk to, there's classes that you can take. I saw something recently. Ray, you know Ray
Mm-hmm.
Rondell Chambers.
Yep, yep.
Shout out to him. He got, I guess he's doing some kind of real estate class he's doing now. I
Yeah.
didn't really read too much about it. I just happened to see it
Yeah.
the other day, and I'm guessing that is trying to teach people about real estate, how to get into it, how to own, and so it's things that you could check out where people that know about it can help you, walk you through it, because let's be honest, it's nothing like having your own.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like being the boss. I mean, think about, it sounds a little silly, but think about if you live uh in the same building with a bunch of people, whether it's a 2 family, 3 family, whatever, and y'all plan to cook out on the same day. Well, stuff like that. You
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to go out. I'm having a cookout on July 5th. It's my backyard at my house. I don't got to worry about no clashing with nobody else. I don't got to worry about him trying to fry chicken while I'm trying to do ribs. Whatever. I mean, if it's yours, you don't have these problems.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of the benefits. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems small, but it's a lot. When it's yours, it's yours. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do.
And stop thinking that everything sounds too good to be true.
Man,
That means that you have low expectations for yourself and the things that you should have.
yeah,
Like, nothing is too good to be true. It's just not. Because if someone else has done it, then it's real.
yeah,
If someone else can tell you, okay, this happened, it's real. And yeah, it happened for them. It might not happen the same way for you, but let's say it kind of happens, right? Then you're in a better spot than you are right now. And it's proof that all of it might not, but some of this stuff is real. Um, you know, my whole thing in getting a multifamily at the time was I didn't believe it was real. And then when it happened, I'm sitting in front of, the lawyer and the real estate agent at the time, and I'm signing off on paperwork, and they handed me the keys. And when I started collecting that rent and paying that mortgage and stuff, I was like, oh, this is real.
mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I
Getting some-
did it.
Getting some cash coming
Yeah.
in, and yeah,
And you talking about a dude who grew up in the projects, you know what I'm saying? My parents didn't have their first home until I was 18.
man,
I was just about to turn 18 when they bought their first home.
yeah,
And that was because, my parents from the deep south and a lot of people around them. And this is another thing. You got to watch yourself. You got to watch how you share your information with people, because people around them were telling them that they needed all of this stuff to get a house. And it was someone who my mother didn't even know. She was frustrated at work, and she expressed her concerns about it. And she was just like, I'm sick of living in the projects. I want to buy a house, and I know that I need all of this, that, and the other. And the lady was like, well, who told you that?
right,
And she was like, oh, my relative, this person, this person, this person, they all got houses. And they said, she was like, no, they told you some wrong
It's
information.
not even true.
Put her in contact with people. A couple months later, we moving. We moved before I graduated. I went on a trip to Canada. I went on a trip. When I left on the trip, I was living in the projects. I came back, and we were living in a house. And so the whole thing is, we have to believe enough in ourselves to know that, whatever we think about doing is never too big. And all of this just started, today's conversation just started from someone saying that mortgage is glorified rent. And that's a statement that couldn't be furthest from the truth. I mean, of course, some people are going to say, well, in theory it is because you pay them monthly. Okay, so let's talk about that piece of it. Yeah, you're paying monthly. But in mortgage, you're paying monthly into something that's leading towards ownership. Rent, you paying into something that's leading towards someone else's ownership, right? Because you could pay rent for all that you want to do, for all the time you could have been living there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. If the actual owner who's paying the mortgage decides he wants to sell the house, or he wants to put some of his family members in there, now you got to pick up and go. Not because of something that you want to do, but because of something that you have to do.
Forced to do it, yeah.
Right, you're forced to do it. And so imagine being in a situation where times might get a little bit tough and you don't know how you're going to make ends meet. And so at the end of it all, you can make a decision on this house and walk away in the extreme green, right? Because you could either be in the green or in the red. Most people, you leave in a rent-based situation and you're in the red. Because now you got to come back up with a security deposit, first and last month, depending on where you're going. If you are selling a house, going into another house, you can leverage that situation as well. Because now the banks are looking at it like, oh, you're selling this house. How are you going to have the money for the down payment? Or how are you going to have the money for this? Oh, from the sale of this house. Oh, and you owe this on this house and you're selling it for this. So you're going to more than qualify in terms of any cash available that you have. Right? And I think we are missing the point. We missed the point on mortgage situations. We missed the point on life insurance situations. Some people don't have life insurance or they have just the basics, not understanding the different types of life insurances and how you can leverage that situation to benefit you right now. Right? You could leverage a life insurance policy to benefit you right now financially.
Yeah.
And so these are things where we need to start having conversations with people who really matter to where we want to go in our future. First, we got to figure out where we want to go because we can't make our right now our forever, right? My thing is, if you're living in a situation that you're complaining about every single day, your life deserves better than that. You weren't put on this earth to suffer, right? You were put on here maybe to go through some hard times to learn some situations, but put on this earth to suffer? And you think that that's what you're supposed to do for your entire life, suffer and then die.
Yeah.
Suffer, go to a few parties, and then die. But then there's other people over here who they flourish, right? They flourish because they've made the most of their 24 hours, which we all get in a day. They've made the most of that. They become successful, and then you want to say that they sold their souls. Come on, man. That to me is the wildest. That's the wildest cop out in the world.
I mean, isn't that the goal to become a success?
Right.
Isn't that the goal to have, financial stability, wealth? Aren't these the goals? Like, why that's nothing to look down upon. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do some hard work to get there, but at some point you got to put yourself in a position where you earning, but you also enjoying it. You put yourself in a position to where you can be comfortable. Like you said, you don't just want to suffer and wake up every day and hate what you're doing and hate where you gotta go and hate where you. That's nobody wants to live like that. I mean, we all been there. Some of us are still there, and you doing what you gotta do. But when a door opens, you gotta have the courage to walk through it. And I'm talking to myself as well right now because I've been battling with this whole thing since the job stopped at Guidus. I started another job pretty much right away that I'm there now, and even though I'm there now, I'm thinking like, do I really want to continue doing this? And that's why I'm looking at this right here as a door that's opening, and even though I'm still doing that over there, I'm really leaning towards just saying, you know what? When I asked myself this morning, when is the last time that you really bet on yourself? When's the last time, we talk about stepping out on faith. When the last time have you really done it? This is me talking to me. I'm not talking to nobody else. If it applies to you, then take it. But I asked myself this morning, when is the last time you bet on yourself? You spend a lot of time going to work, making money, trying to do this, killing yourself, all this and that, just to survive. But when is the last time you really bet on yourself? The last time I really took a shot was in 2016. The first time I tried stand-up comedy.
Mm.
It was a success that night. That night will live in my heart forever.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I kind of like let it slip away. I didn't really put into it what I should have put. The ambition that I had that night, somewhere along the line, it went away.
Yeah.
And I just got back into going to work and and just doing whatever. That's why Biggs, when he was doing that show Voices on Sunday, he always talked about people tapping into their greatness.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that all the time. When y'all had to hear that show that morning that he did it. It was a Sunday, and I don't know how I ended up listening to it, but it's a real thing. We got to really bet on ourselves.
Let me ask you something. What's the biggest dream still out there?
Dream Stealer, you
Yeah.
said? That's a good question.
It's a job. It's a job. Listen, I'm going to tell you how it steals your dream. Because you'll talk about you want to do something, and it's going to take some work. It's going to take some hard times. It's going to take some struggle, and sometimes you might not see the financial reward right away. Every week, every 2 weeks on that Thursday, Friday, whatever, you're going to see that supposed reward from going and punching that clock, right? And so that becomes more comfortable than the pain that you got to go through to build this situation up. Because we want the end result, but we don't want to go through all the trials and tribulations, the yeses, the nos, mostly no. Because a lot of times you're going to hear more people saying no to you and more opportunities saying no to you than yes. It's just that one yes that changes everything, but it's the journey to get to it that knocks us off our rocker. And we get so comfortable. And I've been having the same battle that he had, because when I left radio, jumped right into something else. And is it what I want to be doing long term? No, it's not. It's not rewarding. It's frustrating, and that's just being honest. It's frustrating, and it's like, yo, I was put here to do something bigger. I was put here to do something better, and I had this sitting on the back burner. And his brother had started his podcast, and then it kind of slowed up for him. You know, it was other things, and he was like, yo, I just want consistency. I'm like, man, if consistency is what you want, then let's make it happen. I was already doing stuff, you know, dealing with brothers and going through their mental health situations and things like that, just with suffering loss and how to cope with it. And I was like, man, we could talk about real issues. We can talk about real issues. And let's get here, man. Because sometimes people need to hear, you might need to hear just one statement. You might have one topic that becomes your favorite topic. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Eric Thomas, I spoke about it last week. Eric Thomas is one of my mentors, and you know, it's nothing like meeting someone who you read about or you listen to all the time. I was listening to his speeches a lot, and I spoke about this last week. But that right there, you know, that brother, he had a speech, and I talked about it last week. When you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I was listening to that over and over and over again. And it really hit me a lot of times. It changed a lot of the ways that I was thinking. And it made me want to read more books and do different things. But I was still trying to figure out how to apply it. Right? And sometimes you have to figure out how to apply it. And sometimes it's that repetition of listening to it over and over and over again. So maybe we'll talk about one thing throughout the course of all these shows that might become your favorite thing that you listen to every single day. You take it, you download it, you turn it into audio, and you listen to it every day, and you never know where this could take you, man. And we just two brothers who grew up in the hood, man, and we've had some life experiences, and not shy to share them.
That's right.
Not shy to talk about the things that we go through. I mean, it's real every day when you know, you got to struggle to get up out of bed and go and do that job, because you don't know what's coming up in the next minute or two. What's coming up when you turn that computer on, when you sit at that desk, when you punch in. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know who's going to get on your nerves, and you got to take it on the chin because you got a family depending on you for that paycheck. Right? So imagine if you're writing your own ticket. And these are things that are realities, because if it's a reality for some, it could be a reality for all, but we have to apply ourselves to get to it. And that's where we fall short, because we don't have that belief system enough in ourselves. And we want it right now. If it's not going to happen right now, then nah, we don't want it. Because we could get that job. You know, they offer us the job. Hey, in 2 weeks, you're going to get a paycheck. You can't guarantee yourself in 2 weeks that you're gonna get a paycheck from something that you're trying to do as your own thing. But here's the thing: I'm not saying don't work. If you have that job, work that job with a plan. Work that job with a
That's
plan.
that's the part right there. Work that job with a plan, and I think I stayed at guidance for a long time. But I think the difference now is the job I have now. Like he said, I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I respect them in the short time I've been there. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I'm not. I don't plan on hanging around there for a whole long time because
Mm-hmm.
there's more to it. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
it's just more to it for me. I can't talk about the other three guys and those other three trucks, but for me, there's more to it. There's more that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's more that I think I deserve. Scratch that. There's more that I know I deserve, and it's time now. Now is the time. And the same way that I'm dedicated to go get in that truck and make those deliveries, I'm dedicated to getting in front of this camera and working this podcast and turn it into a success.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So with anything that you're trying to do, man, anything that you're trying to do, some of us we have certain skill sets, man. It could be the simplest thing. It could be the simplest thing, and that could be your cash cow for you. Like we were all put on this earth with a certain skill set, something that defines our greatness. We just have to tap into it and believe enough in ourselves to not give up on it. When you could turn that thing that you love into something that's your driving force and something that's bringing you income and doing everything that you needed to do for you, it's no longer work because you're living your dream. You're living out the thing that you really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get rid of an alarm clock when you're doing something that you really want to do because you're looking forward to waking up and doing that all over again,
Yes.
right? You need that alarm clock for that thing that you don't really want to get up and do because it's forcing you to get up. It's forcing you to get up.
That's deep.
Think about when you want to do something real bad. Think about when you really want to go on a trip or something like that. Like you getting up, sometimes you can't even sleep because you're so anxious to go on vacation. You so excited that you can't even sleep. Now imagine doing that every single day. Imagine that being your reality, man. Imagine every day of your life being like a Saturday. For some people who work Monday through Friday. Every day of your life being like a Saturday. You get up when you want to and you get to your things when you want to. Right? Imagine when Monday comes around, it's just another day for you. But you're still generating something. When you can put that thing that you do on autopilot, right? So that you don't have to show up for your money to show up. See, we believe that we got to show up for our money to show up, and that's wrong. That's a misunderstanding of finances. That's a misunderstanding of how money works. Because the money is working you. You're supposed to work the money. The money is working you. Right? And so we got to get on the other side of that. And it's all about having that whole shift. It's all about having that shift. And some of that comes with feeding yourself different information than what you're feeding yourself right now. That might mean stepping away from the crowd, going and reading some things, like study those successful people and see what they read. Like find out what their day to day is. Sometimes success leaves clues, and a lot of the information that you need is within the pages of a book. It is really true. If you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book, because most people are not going to pick up that book and read. And all the success secrets are in the book. It's about habits that you need to change. Some of us are prisoners to old habits, and some of those habits are destructive for us. And myself included. Like I said, when just like this brother said, man, just like Fatt said, he's not only talking on the camera, he's talking to himself. I'm talking to myself. Some of this stuff is in the books, man.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read it, you're like, dag, they really think different. But it's not that difficult to do it. It's just separating yourself from the nonsense. And some of the stuff that genuinely gives you a headache. You know what things give you a headache. You know the things that don't make you feel good, and you still sitting there doing the same old things. That's the definition of insanity. You're expecting a different result, but you're doing the same old things. So we need to change up the things that we do, man. But I had to talk about that, man. I told him as soon as we met up, I said, yo, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because we got to change the way that we think. And just think about your neighborhood that you live in right now. Think about the people who are coming in and buying up everything, especially if you know, we will ride past buildings that have been condemned for years, and I know that for a time I was guilty of this.
Use the bathroom.
Hmm?
Use the bathroom
Yeah,
real quick.
I know that I was guilty of this, where I would say, "Yo, somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to. They need to change this. They need to fix this. They need to fix that." And I'm like, "Nah, we could do that. We could do that ourselves. We don't need somebody else to do it. We can do it." And I think I started thinking that way. I really started thinking that way about we can do it later. I didn't think it right away. Um, and so now that I think it, and I'm starting to come into that space, let's get into that space together, man. I want to share all of that with you guys. You know what I mean? I want us all to be in that same space, man. We can all win together. We can all win together, but we have to understand that we got to put in the work on it, man. Bigg and Fatt podcast. And the reason why this conversation was brought about is because we had a situation where, a brother said that mortgage is nothing but glorified rent. And I was like, oh, that's a twisted mindset. That is a real twisted mindset, man. And we got to fix that, and we need to discuss it because there's probably other people who co-sign that statement, man. And there's, I don't know. I don't know. That bothered me because there's so many people who think that way. And I know that from being a realtor and having discussions with people and people just giving up and saying, you know what, I'll just continue paying rent if I got to go through all that. Why these people need to know so much? Like when the bank is asking for certain information and people are saying, why do people need to know this much? I'm like, you mean the people who you're asking, to cut a check for maybe $300,000, $400,000, you want to know why they need to know all of this? Because they're the ones that's cutting the check. You're asking them to give you up front a few $100,000. And then they're not supposed to ask you a few things. They're not supposed to know how much you got saved. They want to know if you're worthy of that. They're looking at your credit. They want to know if all this stuff is adding up. So we got to do better, people. We got to do better. And this isn't, you think it's you against that person who's sitting in front of you. When you get up and walk away from that person, they've forgotten about you. By the end of the week, they forgot that you even exist. Because there's all these other people who are voluntarily coming in and giving them the information that they need. And getting the stuff that they really wanted in the beginning. The reason why they originally walked through the door. So, for me, I say let's get rid of what we call that stinking thinking. Right? I heard someone say that to me before. Stinking thinking. We think that everything is just about us and I don't want people to know. And sometimes I'm gonna say it, and I mean it. We think that way because we know that if we were the person sitting in that chair, then we would do the same thing. We would be the same way. We think that way because if we were the person sitting in that chair trying to approve somebody for a loan and we saw that this stuff wasn't right, we would probably talk about them on the low. We would probably talk about them. We would get with our friends, yo, you know what I seen? So-and-so doing this, that, and the other. No, man, no. Let's keep our head in the game. We got to know that it's benefiting us at the end. You're going to go through some things that might not be easy to go through. You're going to go through some things that might not make you the happiest. But at the end of it all, it's worth it. I mean, you do stuff on your job every single day that you hate doing. But you still do it.
Better talk about it.
You still do it because you know that paycheck is coming. See, they dangle that paycheck in front of you. Imagine being in a situation where you could write your own check. Imagine being in a situation where you could go on vacation whenever you want. You don't have to ask for permission or put it on a calendar and make sure it's not X amount of people out on that day or whatever the case may be.
You can just go.
Get up and go.
Yeah.
So I mean, we gotta change the way that we approach this stuff, man. It's all about mindset, and I mean, it's all about men's mental matters. You see, you got the shirt on that says it. You understand what I'm saying? Got
Hit
the
me
hat
up.
and the shirt.
Hit me up if you want it. I'll take care of
Yeah,
you.
and the reason why we did this, man, is brothers. We just want to get together and talk about things, man. Talk about some realness.
hmm
We want to talk about some real stuff, and spark some conversation, man. Leave some comments in the chat, and if we see something in the chat that we want to talk about next week, we'll address that. And soon we're gonna be bringing, guests onto the show. We'll be able to tap people into it as we are live and stuff like that. So this is gonna grow, and we're not gonna stop, man. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna continue to talk about things. Um, you know,
We here for the long haul.
yeah,
We're here for the long haul. I mean, it's interesting. You said people tap in. One brother mentioned we talk about it briefly before we wrap, but he mentioned health for us. He mentioned talk to brothers about getting I don't want to screw this up. They colonoscopies and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
said it right.
Yep.
Shout out to me. I said it right. Let me tell you, it's something that we all need to do. I was kind of like in fear of doing it because when you hear that, I'm like, man, ain't no doctor gonna be playing around. She ain't gonna be back there with all that, the gloves and the. But it's nothing like that. Let me tell you something. It's the best sleep I've had in years. I tell you that much. And it's so funny because when I had it done,
Miss Tish, how you doing?
they found something, but that they were able to see and remove. So this is why it's important to do it. So brothers really gotta get busy with their health and keeping up on it, and going to the doctor and all of that stuff. It's real.
Yeah.
Like, not saying we all gonna go, but if you can prevent it and be around for a little bit longer because you on top of things and you ahead of things, then do that.
Exactly.
And get some life insurance too, people. Like,
Please.
what the hell is that? Like, get some life insurance.
So life insurance, medical insurance, all of that.
All
man.
of that stuff, man. You got all these sneakers and all this and that, but then when something happened, it's time to bury your ass. You leaving your family to set up GoFundMe's and all types of stuff. Like, it's not a good look.
Let it go.
Get some insurance, and it don't even cost much. I got 2 life insurance policies right now. It don't cost much as you think it do. I don't want to sound like the commercial, but it's you can do it. Make that happen.
This is real conversation that we need to have, man. Look, that being said, this is the Bigg and Fatt podcast, man. We're gonna be back at you next week. We appreciate you tuning in. All right, big man, big man, big man, big man. It's Fatt Williams. Peace.